With managing umpire rosters like Sally, the Time Umpire software allows you to take control with ease. Check out timeumpire.com.au.
Welcome back to Casey Stadium for the 2019 AMNA National Championships. I have Dan Cook with me, a Victorian, and you'd be pretty happy with that swing from the boys. So they've managed to get themselves a lead now after a 2-goal deficit in the first quarter.
Yeah, up by 3 now. It's a 5-goal win for the last quarter. From a Victorian point of view, yeah, really happy. The quality of netball from the reserves division at the moment also, really strong quality and great standard of what they're putting out there. And you can see the ball really starts to flow. They've got some great structures. So it's been a good game so far. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens for the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. This reserves grade being a bit of a proving ground for the next guys to move up into those open teams. So 9 teams here, all of them trying to show the best of their skills and abilities that they have. So been good to see. We expect some changes in this quarter as well, Dan?
Yeah, I don't know whether there are going to be changes. I think both teams will want to win this. The final series is a little bit different this year for them, having 1 to 5 and wanting to make sure that they get the second chance best that they possibly can, or the best chances of making the grand final that they possibly can. And realistically, a team that finishes in 4th in the division has to quite possibly play twice on the one day, so you don't really want to sit yourself in the 4th spot to have to play another one of the other teams to try and make yourself to get a spot in the grand final.
Yeah, that's right. It's tough route through finals for those those divisions that have more than just the 5
That's right.
main states. So 9 in this, and like you said, they're going to have to fight their way through. Finals, of course, will be live streamed as well. They will start on the Friday morning and continue to the grand finals through on Saturday. So multiple finals happening on the Friday, and then lots of rest and recovery and big grand finals on the Saturday. Restart about to happen here. Queensland with the first centre pass of this second half. We'll want to look to get a few of these goals caught back up early if they can and keep that pressure on the Victorians. Victorians doing really well to deny entry to the circle here.
Great touch from Dan King there. Quick arm up. Troy Schultz really looked to get the ball into Caleb Herman really quickly. And it's a great tip. And out to Victorian hands on the outside of the circle.
Just had a ball enter onto the court from court 2 again. New Zealand, Tasmania over there. Looks like it's about 18-34 over on that court at the moment. I expect the undefeated New Zealand team probably winning that at this stage. But you never know. Tasmania have quite a good team as well for a little state. I think they only have that team, in fact, over here this year, just the one team. So nice and focused. All their players put in the one basket and doing quite well. I know they beat South Australia in their first game.
Yeah, look, Tasmania, the surprise packet of last year. I really don't think their standards dropped off at all, watching them a couple of times so far this year as well. I think what's probably happened for them is that the other teams have just gone upwards and everyone's putting in the work pre-championship and making sure that the standard for men's netball keeps rising.
Yeah, that's right. Some of these states can have quite long lead-ups and many training sessions, often a couple of times a week, if not 3 times a week, including gym work and court work, specialist sessions. In Victoria, the elite program as well, for those that are lucky enough to be in that.
Yeah, and lots of the teams go for multiple sessions a week, plus their own extra training outside of netball. So really trying to take this as seriously as we possibly can and push our sport to the next level.
So Queensland here, a bit more shooter-to-shooter stuff, trying to get Hernan to the post. And they do. So Victoria now through Blomley. He's come on and played a nice solid wing attack role. Bit of a late call there from umpire Jake Shepherd, getting himself around, finishing off his running strides before blowing that whistle. DeMonte all alone under the post there and finishes nicely. What are you thinking for your best player so far, Dan?
Yeah, still looking at probably defenders, though I have been really impressed with Troy Schultz as well in the control that he's had for Queensland in attack. But Simon Cartwright as well and Dan King for Victoria have been great. And same with Josh Logan down the back for Queensland, really trying to stop the flow for Victoria.
Absolutely. In these nice, tight, hard games, it's really almost impossible to pick that that best play until the very last minute.
That's right.
Until you see who gets the win or who has the big moment in the last 2-3 minutes. Blomley there with a nice little spin, turns himself right onto that ball, gets himself circle edge. Just almost overcooked that one for Christian White, but manages to pull it in, and a beautiful high arcing shot.
Yeah.
Hits nothing but net.
Matt Blomley making a return to the competition this year. Last couple of years has been a coach of the Victorian under-23s, but it's a former Victorian Opens player, and really does have a very good structured play for him to rely on. And we've just seen him entering the game for the last quarter, and what he's done for Victoria as well.
Of course, as we talk about him, he messes up that one. Throws it straight to Victoria. So I think have a blood rule call here. Schultz just catching a bit of a hand or something in the face on that last play down court. Get a physio over to him as soon as they can. See if they can get it stopped. They're going to need him to continue. I think he is providing them with so much movement. So they'll really want to try and keep him on court if they can. Only gets a short period of time, unfortunately, to change, but if he can get that stopped, he can come back on court and re-enter the game. So we have a new goal attack for Queensland. Let's hope they can continue this flow and keep this game nice and close. A little bit more height on this goal attack. We'll try and get you a name as soon as we can. Wise. Joel Wise is in for the currently injured Schultz. And unfortunately though, they've messed up the first one. Oh, I think the court's getting a bit slippery out there. Uncharacteristic, feet just sliding out from under. We're going to get a towel out there. Been quite a few cameos throughout the week. Some of the boys and coaches and physios running out with the towels.
The towel.
As we see Smith wave it around there.
It's not very warm outside, but it is quite warm inside the stadium as well.
It is indeed, and these boys obviously putting out a fair bit of effort, generating a fair bit of sweat. So Queensland do manage to score that possession and have the centre pass next. Good hands in there. Oh, and unfortunately, DeMonte just stepped. So, simple error.
I think that just comes from the pattern, running backwards away from the ball, just waiting for it. You might just want to, as your friend in your team, not pass to someone running backwards away from the ball.
Well, get that depth and then punch forward again. So just hang on to that for a second longer so we can stop and turn and come back.
And if it's not on, look somewhere else that's there instead of just putting him under pressure for that.
Oh, another good straight-up contest from King. Couldn't quite get two hands on that ball or force it out of court. So Queensland now tie this ball game up at 30 apiece. So Victoria probably wouldn't be happy with the start to this quarter, having dropped that 3-goal lead now already. We've got 9 minutes 50 left to play in this quarter. Double jump there from Queensland, but obstruction on the second one. That's Christian White puts it in.
And that's something for all teams, I think, to think about. By the time it gets to the Wednesdays, the bodies start to get tired, and you start to get a little bit more lethargic. And paying attention for the period of time, in a game of netball is hard to be able to do.
Yeah, there's that slippery spot on the court again. Going to have to get that attended to. I think it's virtually the same spot as the Victorian players slipped a few moments ago. Some good quick hands in there from Griffin, but nice look from DeMonte on that throw-in, straight over to White's hold.
You can see Christian White was really setting up for that one, kind of just drawing Josh Logan into moving across the court to try and get himself a good spot underneath the ring.
So we see the Queenslanders now having their turn to wipe the floor. That spot, unfortunately, as soon as the boys slip over, it just adds more and more sweat. Yeah. Because, of course, lots of sweat on their shirts and on their bodies. And that ball just forced a little bit the last couple of times down court, the Victorians.
Yeah, I think that's probably something they need to look at doing, is just slowing it down and making sure that person's punching through and coming onto the ball instead of almost running away or running down the court, without the best angle.
Some more sideline transition there Queensland managed to swing it to the open side of the court, but Victorians good enough to get there and hold them up. Another high ball in for Herman, who puts another one away.
6
He's
straight
shot,
for the quarter.
yeah, shot all 6 of their goals so far, looking at your stats there. Oh, this area of the court is really problematic at the moment. That's the 3rd time now. We get that good close contest.
Alec Deasy with a cameo now for Victoria.
I suspect there might be a few more before this game is out too. Oh, just overcooking that feed in there. Unfortunately, Williamson not quite able to connect up. So Victorians narrowly hanging on to this lead. They really want to score this one, see if they can settle. Get a couple of these goals back that they had. They'd want to take a lead into the last quarter. Oh, that ball coming off the post, just too low for Christian to get down there and pick it up. Unfortunately, spilling to Queensland. You have some games where that just goes the opposition way, doesn't it?
It does. But, you know, I'd probably like to see both teams put the ball into the goal shooter in a nicer space. I think both teams are putting the goalkeeper into the game. Yeah, I think both balls into the circle have been on multiple times, and a couple of errors just come from the ball placement and putting it into the wrong side of the shooter. Sometimes, you know, we think about trying to get them as close to the post as possible. If the defender's in a good spot, you can't get them there.
That's right. You just have to do that bit of extra work, go the short one, maybe a refeed, work yourself to the post.
Yeah, and lots of these boys have actually shot pretty well from some decent range, so don't be scared to actually make sure you stay safe, get them with the ball in the circle instead of necessarily with the ball at the post.
Yeah, it's all about playing those numbers. I think isn't it, Dan, and working the percentages. Get it to the post if you can, but if not, take a little bit more risk, but set up for nicely for rebounding position, then you're probably just as good to go. Good take there from Griffin on that drive. That ball was placed well and truly behind him.
A nice little deflection again from Simon Cartwright.
He's come through quite nicely, hasn't he?
Moving
his feet all the way to the ball. Something the Victorians do quite nicely. They're always moving their feet, always on the run. Umpire Dean Hurst again, just making sure everything's set up properly for that penalty. And 33 apiece. So Victorians with some work to do, almost a held ball there. Quick release there from Matt Blomley. It was on a very long drive.
Well, straight up the line as well. Coach killer, I think.
Being coach himself, I'm sure he'll adjust. He'll realise he's a pretty smart player, which is what we like. There's players out there that can adjust and think for themselves. Just making sure this bib is actually on, and the Victorians get away with getting that ball onto court. Oh, Matt Blomley with the circle edge rebounds. None of the 4 in the circle able to get hands on it.
But I think sometimes Queensland have the right idea, maybe looking at getting Brandon to have to put the ball up. He's missed 2 for this quarter. He did miss 1 in the first. In the second quarter, the first quarter that he was on court. So it might be worth making sure that they can block out Christian. He doesn't have the quick offload.
Yep. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
making him have to put the ball up. He's had a couple of rebounds on there, so, you know, really boxing out, getting spacing up to the ball so that he's not doing them as much damage as what he probably could be. And it's probably dropped off a little bit this quarter as well.
There's that ball into the backspace for Christian White. Oh, doesn't quite get that one. Gets his own rebounds, though. And finishes it eventually. So centre pass now for Victoria, under 2-goal lead, but they've coughed it up. I'm not sure what that call was, Dan. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think it definitely was a contact call. Happened right in front of us. Matthew Blomley just unfortunately had his arm up into the back of the defender.
Umpire able to see that one pretty easy.
Yeah, I think it was right in front of the umpire as well. So very easy to kind of see that was the result of the movement that Matt did.
So Queensland now, from defending a centre pass, could now easily tie this game up. They'll be very happy with having caught up that 3-goal lead. unfortunately a held ball. So we've seen the last couple of centres not go right for either team.
Bit quick on that held ball, I think, as well. I don't know if it's quite a 3-second call, but the umpire, has the decision to make, and I guess if he's going to call it, you'll take it.
Consistent.
That's right.
Call it the same next time.
Great work from Josh Logan to get the tip and the turnover there for Queensland.
Griffin nice and patient there. Just waits for Redden to come and help out on that transverse line.
Again, struggling with that transition phase a little bit. Victoria doing a great job on this one. But beautiful ball into Herman underneath the post.
Yeah, right into the space that he needed that. It's just where the defender wasn't. It's good. Blomley getting nice second phase here. And good quick release as well into White. Puts that shot up nicely as he's stepping out over the goal line. So this game, I think probably 3 goals has been about the biggest lead.
It has. It really hasn't gone out past that at all, which is exactly what you want from the grand final rematch.
Yeah, and these boys are second and third on the ladder. Only the New Zealand team currently sitting higher on the ladder than either of these two. So a real top of the table clash. That is a long, long look there. Just need to settle and do a little bit more work. Still 2 minutes 45 to play, so plenty of time. There's no need for the Victorians to rush. No, they'd probably be disappointed having dropped this 3-goal lead, but they can certainly, with 2.5 minutes, still go into the last break, probably with that lead or even a bit more if they do well here and keep that pressure up.
Yeah, it's probably just about maintaining that focus. Getting the turn when you get the turnover ball like this one really needs to be scored. Staying steady, not rushing.
Called for a step there, Christian White, as he's trying to gain a bit of ground. So a bit of ping pong netball being played here. Queensland had that, lost it. Now have it back again. Oh, great take from King. Just turned his body nicely, opened up those shoulders, went straight up, took that ball clean in the air. Blomley playing pretty quick.
Just like to see Victoria slow down on taking the ball through the court. They do have the speed, but it's just about using it effectively.
Oh, unfortunately not able to chase that one down there, Griffin. Did well to get touches on it in the first place. Both the Queenslanders go to Monty. That ball swung way too far for Blomley. Can't move his feet fast enough to get there to that one. A real dangerous ball to swing anyway from pocket to pocket like that.
But great work from Queensland, really trying to force them into making those errors and shutting down the movement that Victoria had from the last quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Williamson going to be taking this ball with the play standing out, so Cartwright getting called there. Wise kicking that ball around, working the angles, gets himself back to the front. Steps in on the shot though. Ooh, manages to complete it. Over a nice hold there from King. So King didn't have to give his ground. In the last minute now. And it's Queensland have caught up 4 goals and they have possession as well. So 3-goal lead for Victoria. Absolutely gone.
Dan King with the touch again. That ball just dropping a little short for, a couple of times that the ball's come down the court. Yeah, and getting him into the play as well. I think that's something Queensland can probably reduce. Just allowing the tall that's standing in front to get into the play.
So shot from Christian White. Beautiful, beautiful shot. Can't be long left. So Victorian centre pass. They've tied it up. So at this stage, only lost their 3-goal lead. And if they score this, which they're not going to, Griffin takes a bit of a tumble. But Queensland come up with the ball. There it is. So we go into the last quarter. All tied up at 37 apiece. So this is a game that Queensland have led, Victoria have led, and now we're even. So really set up for a very good final quarter. We'll head off to some ads and we'll be back to call that in just a moment.
Sally is your local netball administrator. She receives daily messages from her umpires on her phone and Facebook. Mary just messaged, and Craig, Sam and Jane. Struggling with managing umpire rosters like Sally? The Time Umpire software allows you to take control with ease. Check out timeumpire.com.au.
Welcome back to Victoria Resi's 1 versus Queensland in Casey Stadium for the 2019 AMNO National Championships. We have an even game on our hands, 37 apiece. Dan, what do you think? Did the coaches make some changes, try something, or do they just run with these lineups and see who grinds it out the best?
Oh, I think probably for Victoria we saw what the changes did, and I think that they really just made some silly errors in that quarter that have kept Queensland in the game, more so than what Queensland have been doing. I would like to see if Troy Schultz is all right for him to return to the court. I thought he did a really good job and really kept Queensland front end going, but it still looks like that he's still got some issues with the blood rule. So
yeah, he's still with the trainer there.
That's right.
Putting his head back a few times. Looks like he's got a blood nose that just seems to be pretty persistent, unfortunately. Can't quite make it stop, so I expect maybe Wise will come out and start the quarter, and they might look to bring him on as soon as they possibly can. So 15 minutes here. We'll be back with the restart pretty soon. We can also see Clint Allwood, the Victorian captain, I'm assuming, heading over and talking to the umpires now about possibly some rules. Some intense conversation happening over there as well. Boys, captains are allowed to head out and clarify rules during the breaks. Every umpire, as we know, have some different interpretations sometimes of something, so it can be hard to adjust unless you know what they're calling. Now the Queenslanders head over and ask some questions as well. Probably say, hey, what did the Victorian guys just ask you about?
yeah, is that something as a coach that you send your player over to have a chat with the umpires very often?
Not often. Not often. I really wouldn't encourage it. I think generally players should just be adjusting. They should be able to work out, be smart enough to work out what they're calling or what they're doing wrong and just adjust and get on with it. Yeah. The umpires shouldn't really impact the game terribly much at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Usually during the game, I don't need the interpretation given to me. If there's something that I really want, then yeah, maybe that'll get asked for. Sometimes it's just for the benefit of the players because they get a little bit flustered. But I like to send the captain over just so that they can come back with an answer, so that they're not thinking about it during the game. More so their benefit. I know as a coach, I have been known to ask to speak with them afterwards just so that I can find out. But during the game, it's not really going to help.
No, they're probably not likely to change their minds anytime soon, are they?
That's right.
So we see Queensland there with the first goal. The umpire's just worried about some spots near where he needs to run. So it's getting the boys to clean that up. So they did manage to get Schulz back out on court in time. DeMonte now with that ball down onto that goal line for White. Mid-range, drops it short, gets his own rebounds though. Great work by White there. Follow that shot up.
Josh Logan just trying to sneak underneath Christian White's arm there. Kind of just saw him like creep in and underneath to put the goal off.
Queensland having to be nice and patient here. Great tip. Not quite able to save that from going out.
And Queensland really probably do want to be a little bit desperate for this one today. They did lose to New South Wales earlier in the week, which means that this game becomes really important if they want to finish kind of in second or third and not have to play the fourth or fifth.
Yep. Yeah,
game.
Absolutely. So higher you can finish, the better your chances of having that double chance. Good work here by the Victorians. Getting to DeMonte low. Puts another one in for them. So good start here for the Victorians. They've got the first two on the board, therefore take a 2-goal lead. Bomley applying some defensive pressure as a wing attack, but just a little too close. So Queensland works at the top of the circle. Good straight up challenge there from King. Herman just fumbles that ball out of court. Monty linking up nicely. Cartwright also helping out in that transverse line. Putting that ball a little bit behind Blomley, but he manages to reel it in. Two of the Vic boys both going for that ball in the same spot there. White comes up with it as the taller option and puts it away.
Really quick momentum swing that I think you've just kind of felt Victoria have just jumped themselves up a little bit. The intercept from Simon Cartwright, that touch there from Dan King that just to help the shooter send the ball out of court, unfortunately. You can just feel the momentum just swing just then.
Yeah, absolutely. Good open there from De Monte to get himself into some space. Unfortunately, just misses that shot. Blomley has a go at that ball as well. Dean Hurst just calling it back and making sure that that penalty is set properly. Not a lot of options coming forward there for that ball. Schulz with a mid-range shot finishes that off. That's what Queensland are going to need. They're going to need to mix that up between getting it to Herman at the post and to Schulz mid-range. Make sure they score every time down court. Now they find themselves 2 goals down. That's not the ball to throw in there. Herman didn't have eyes on that one when it was released and therefore had no idea where it was heading. That's going to be over a third. So Queensland take that ball. Oh, and it has been called for a short pass there. So just another simple little mistake there from Queensland. Might keep them out of this game if they don't catch up a couple of goals in a minute. Nice hold to some backspace there from Christian Wright in the one-on-one. And puts another goal away. So he's shot 4 out of their 5 goals this quarter. Oh, Cartwright manages to get there. Good ball from Blomley into White. That's his range now.
That's right. Look, we just saw at the end of the last quarter that Victoria rushed through that circle edge and tried to get the ball into the circle a little quickly. The last couple through the court, they've been able to stay steady and be able to find Christian within shooting range, and it's paid some dividends at the start.
Yeah, and King getting up there for a nice ball. So I think this 4-goal lead is probably the biggest it's been. It was 3 at the halftime break to Victoria. Now it's out to 4. I don't think it's been bigger than that. They've got the chance to go 5 here through that good defensive work from King. De Monte gets himself in front. Mid-range. Doesn't miss that one. So it doesn't make 2 mistakes in a row.
Just some good confidence from him though. Like really good confidence to say, yeah, I am playing the goal attack bib and I am going to put the ball up.
Yeah, he didn't shoot too many early, but now starting to take his chances. He's got himself into the game nicely. Queensland come up with this ball though. Oh, some more good pressure from Victoria, just forcing that ball long over the goal line.
Simon Cartwright, something that he does such a good job of is just wearing the body cleanly and making sure that he's with you for a lot of the work that you do as a wing attack, and just getting in the way. Unfortunately, Victoria making an error there, probably rushing it into the circle.
Yeah, still good transition up to that point, up to that pass just then.
Both teams really not rewarding their defenders for the hard work that they've been putting in for the game.
Yeah, so your best player in a minute might be a defender, Dan?
I think they've been solid. Like I've also been pretty impressed with Caleb Herman as well and Troy Schultz. I thought they've done a really good job. You can't say that Christian White hasn't been a really strong and solid target. And Matt Blomley and Brandon DeMont have really opened up the space. But I think the defenders have, been the ones to get the turnover ball and been sending it back down the other end of the court as much as they possibly can.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. So just over 9 minutes here to play. Still a 4-goal lead. Queensland with the possession though. So if they can pull a couple back here nice and quick, could be on for a really big finish in this game. So stay tuned. The score over on court 2 is 25-60. That's New Zealand and Tasmania over there on that court. And hopefully you stay here and tune into this one because it is currently 3 goals. So Victoria back to their half-time lead. At that 3 goals, they'd be happy to get them back. Smith, long cross-court pass, but he was off balance and didn't really have any other option. It was good just to be able to sight that free player, to be honest.
Yeah,
in Blomley.
In Queensland, I'd probably be trying to make Victoria run long lines and make them really have to stretch out the lead. That's how they've got a lot of turnover ball so far, is just by making Victoria actually have to be under pressure. So I'd continue to keep doing what they're doing. I don't think there's anything that they're really doing wrong at the moment. Really try and force Victoria into their long lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Williams and Schultz connecting well there, but unfortunately that ball from Schultz just sprayed over the sideline. Another one of those dangerous cross-court passes. Oh, he nearly got that one back.
I do think that ball came off Simon Cartwright then.
So do I.
And
actually,
he just
to be honest,
played the umpire into saying, yeah, I didn't touch that.
Played it perfectly, didn't he? Can do that sometimes. It's all about the body language. Slip a foot offside, you pull it back quickly and pretend like you never did, and can get away with some, because umpires have a lot of things to look for. So their eyes are always scanning and they do miss stuff.
Just a step-in call, I think, from Smith. You know, Victoria probably want to stay steady, make sure they get the ball through. Queensland have started to rush the last couple down there, attacking end as well.
Yeah, the more time that runs off this clock, the more pressure Queensland are going to start to feel, unfortunately, and that means more and more errors, which makes it harder and harder. It's called that replay. So again, good defensive work. Defenders for Victoria staying in play, doing the smart stuff. And Herman making the mistake. So Victoria potentially making him pay here.
Still, Victoria, I'd like to see them do some angled work there. All of that was quite up and down, really straight and lateral, and they could really, there's so much space on the court that they could open it up by, you know, just improving the angle in which they're going.
Oh, great take there, going out of court. Manages to flick it back into Queensland's advantage.
But as we see, this not strong angle just allows for Casey Redden to take that ball out of the air. He really cut that space off.
King getting up, just not quite timing that one correctly. And getting called for the contact. And obstruction as well. So both Victorian defenders will be standing out, and hopefully a pretty easy shot here for the Queenslanders. It is put away. So good second phase there from Queensland. Can't connect up into Herman straight away. Going to have to look to that backspace across the circle again. King, unfortunately, not putting his hand down in time, landing too close to the body there. He's done some really good work though this game, just to put that continued pressure on and force that ball up in the air. Blomley, good look, doesn't quite connect. Did have DeMonte free and in space. Just that last little bit of placement that wasn't quite executed perfectly. And Queensland still finding themselves 3 goals down. So they've had about 3 or 4 minutes and haven't managed to pull any back when they've had lots of possession.
Yeah.
And lots of chances.
That's probably what you expect, the team that can convert the most of their turnovers, especially under pressure, which is where, you know, the last 5 minutes of this game is taking the right shot. So maybe that one probably not the best shot.
Yeah, probably needed to just maybe refeed, work that ball to the post a little bit more. But as it is, King comes up with the rebounds. Umpire calling that back. Did want to play the advantage and let it go, but
I think everyone stopped.
Yeah, everyone did stop. So umpire Jack Shepherd calling it back. DeMonte finding himself in some space. Good overlap run there from Smith. Just probably not put out quite far enough.
Not punching onto the ball, I think. I think he could have actually gotten himself onto the ball and just stopped the end of the drive.
DeMonte with the step there. Unfortunately, not quite able to take that ball cleanly with where it was placed. So Queensland get yet another chance. Better. Schultz just works the footwork, works the ball, gets the defender's head spinning and goes straight into his shooting buddy in Herman, who's Herman's hit 6 straight. Looking at his stats, so story of the shooters this quarter, 7 straight for Christian White up the other end.
Missed the first one for the quarter, Steve.
He's still 7 straight.
Yeah, true.
After the miss, it's all right. It's not like he's been playing the whole game and is nice and settled in that spot, is it? I pick on him because I can't shoot. Not a shooter. Not a shooter, Dan. Oh,
yeah, definitely my spot on the court, I think, in the goal circle. Definitely not yours, Steve.
No, definitely not mine. Defender in midcourt for me. Shoot, and you can play at me midcourt as well, mate.
I can.
We played many years together in South Australia a long, long time ago. for this game now. 3 minutes 15 left. Still 3 goals. Vic have held it really well since they came out and blitzed the start of this quarter. Unfortunately, no conversion there for them this time down court. And step and call. So Queensland still just not able to break this 3-goal deficit. And 3 goals in 3 minutes again, starting to get reasonably hard. Williamson just getting called for around the body there. That ball. And Williams from behind, I think, now. Yeah, so free players around for Victoria. They find the circle edge. Good work from DeMonte to get himself to the post there, nice and quick.
Really smart from Christian and Brandon there just to actually, you know, keep it to one side of the court. Swing the ball and let Brandon just take control. Yeah. He probably does have the most foot speed of everyone in the circle, so absolutely, you know, smart move from Victorian trying to use it.
Nearly held ball there from the Queenslanders.
Troy Schultz, as much as there was a penalty there on Dan King, had great vision, knew where the ball was, really smart with that ball.
Yep, released that right to the correct space. Whether or not that call had have happened, I think it would have been a goal anyway.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes left to play. Blomley knows now that they just need to control possession, I think. Very smart player. Australian experience under his belt. So just making sure they do the work and take the time with the ball. White with a nice shot. Leaves the hand up there for a little while. He likes it. Pushes that lead out to 4 goals. Taken quickly there by Queensland. Just get that ball over the top of King.
Yeah, I think Queensland could probably expose it with some better ball delivery. Just putting the ball not into the same space that Dan King can get at the ball.
Great touch there for Williamson coming through in centre.
So chance to put Victoria under a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. There they go. Oh, probably just needed to look at that first one. King gets the call against him though.
Important shot, brings it back to 2 with the centre pass.
So here we go, within the last minute now. And Victoria managed to come out with that ball. Players running all the way through the umpiring bench there. Absolute desperation.
But again, that's the reason why you don't let Simon Cartwright come in front of you.
Both players just on the ball there. Shaw's still in play. Can't stop that drive of Blomley. So can't be too many seconds to the other game on court.
Great take.
Just ended. Puts it away.
It's back to 1 goal. You know, Queensland.
Yep, Victoria lucky to have that centre pass. I think we're under 10 seconds, so Vic will just hang on here. So absolutely spectacular game. Exactly what you would expect from 2 versus 3. Team number 2 managing to just get up by the 1 goal. So 48-49, Victoria's way. Dan Cook will be out on court with an interview post-match very shortly. We will throw to some ads and be back for that shortly.
Top of Anderson, cracks all the way back in, it does. And he he's locked in, but what a goal!
Inundated. So popular.
Casey Stadium here with player of the match in that game, Dan King. How was the game for you? Tight 1 goal.
Look, very tough, very tough. Yeah, sort of tipping and throwing there right to the end. Yeah, they really pushed us every time we played them, so it was good. Glad we came out with the win.
And in the last quarter, what did Alexia say to you to help get you over the line?
She just wanted that next level from the defenders. She said it's a defenders game from here in, so we tried to step it up and came out with it. So.
Congratulations on player of the match, and that's all from Casey Stadium.
Open Elite 8 Premiers, how does that sound?
Big wicket, that one bounced. Come on! The drivers have been taking the pass. Gone. Motor are going through. It's all over for Southern. He's out. Gillum Jones is out. Can it get over the top of Anderson?
get over
Tracks all the way
Anderson.
back in.
It
It
is.
does. And he's locked in!